The Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen says his country is not fighting the Palestinian people.
Striking the terrorism hub with a great strength. I want to emphasize that we don't have a fight with the Palestinians. Actually, our fight is with the proxies of Iran in our region, which is mainly with the Hamas and the Islamic Jihad, with both are terrorist organization which financed by Iran. And Iran's target is to escalate our region. Therefore, there will be no any safe haven for terrorism. Due to the terror organization and the funds they received from Iran, the Jenin camp has become a center for a terrorist activity. Those responsible for carrying out a terror attack against both civilian population and security forces. We will act in a targeted manner. It's very important to me to emphasize that we will take any efforts to prevent harm to the local civilian population. Our goal is to focus in Jenin, and our goal is to focus only on the terrorists themselves.
Our Irish chief correspondent John Cookson has been monitoring developments and he joins us right now from London. Thank you for joining us, John. What's the latest you're hearing about the Israeli assault on Jenin?
Hi guys, good to see you. Well, it's very much an ongoing operation at the moment by the Israelis. The city of 50,000 people pretty much staying indoors. They're burning tires, there's sporadic gunfire, and drones are circling over Jenin, especially over the refugee camp, which houses some 14,000 people. The raid began at 1 o'clock local time this morning. As you said, helicopter gunships were used, but also drones were used in the first wave of strikes on a particular building. Now, the use of drones for this purpose by the Israelis is unusual, and as far as I know, not been used in the West Bank before, although the Israelis have attacked Palestinian groups in Gaza Strip with drones. But this is the first time in Jenin and certainly in the West Bank as a whole. So very much an ongoing operation. You mentioned the death toll of at least 8 Palestinians. That's going to rise today. Ambulances have been racing and continue to race to the scene of the major assault by the Israelis, and there will be further casualties announced by the Palestinians later today. And I'm hearing also that there may be Israeli casualties. This is the biggest operation by the Israelis in at least 20 years. Let's just be open here. The Israelis carry out attacks on places like Jenin almost on a daily basis, searching for and sometimes executing militants. But this was a specific attack on what they call, the Israelis called a command center, a wasp's nest, if you like, to use the words that the Israelis would use, of senior figures in the jihadi movement who were bankrolled by Iran. The Israelis must have got wind of some big attack being planned, and they made that strike, as I say, beginning early this morning at 1 o'clock. But just to emphasize, this is an ongoing operation. It's certainly not over yet, and we'll have to see how the day and the days unfold on this particular matter.
Okay, John, thank you so much for that. Now, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation strongly condemned, of course, the crimes committed by Israeli forces in the Palestinian city against unarmed civilians, medical teams, health centers, and even infrastructure. But what's been the reaction from other Palestinian factions like those in Gaza?
Well, the last time there was a big operation like this, and I was actually there in the West Bank back in January, there was the reaction from Hamas in the Gaza Strip, and they started firing rockets towards Israel as a result of that, and a number of people were killed. Now, strangely enough, Hamas have been asked for a reaction to this latest attack by the Israelis. And basically they're saying at this time, the Palestinians in the West Bank can take care of themselves, which is an unexpected response from Hamas in Gaza. But as I say, it's early days yet. The casualty figures will almost certainly rise, and this is an ongoing operation. So the Hamas position of doing nothing at the time from Gaza, doing nothing for now, might change. Mahmoud Abbas, of course, a senior figure in PLO and Fatah in Ramallah, where one Palestinian died, issued that statement. And indeed, this afternoon at around 4:30 local time, there'll be a security meeting by the Palestinians. But there's no great link between the Palestinian leadership in Ramallah and the guys who run places like Jenin. There's animosity between these two factions, which has been growing in recent weeks. But certainly Mahmoud Abbas will want to show his support in general for the Palestinian people.
All right, John, is the Biden administration likely to condemn or support Israel in its action?
Well, we're just over a year from when the American presidential election gets underway, the process of electing a new president, and there's no way at the present time that Joe Biden's going to upset the Israeli lobby in America. So my understanding is that Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, telephoned Biden before this attack began in Jenin and told Biden what was happening. And one assumes because the assault did go ahead by the Israelis, and it is a massive assault, that it has the overt blessing of the regime in Washington. So for those two reasons, the American administration might just say, perhaps in a day or so, that things should calm down. We get Anthony Blinken perhaps on TV, the US Secretary of State, saying something like that and calling for calm. But certainly Netanyahu's going ahead, it seems, with Washington's blessing at the moment.
All right, then. Thank you so much. Arrives Chief Correspondent John Cookson.